It's my great honor to be here with Aurora Whittet, the so-called wild child of southern Minnesota. She's a Benson native, has published her first book, working on a second and a third of a series. She's a nationally famous designer, and I think as I observed the kids with her today, she made a connection. How did you like your day, Aurora?
It was fantastic. I cried a little bit because I was telling a lot about myself and sharing that journey, and then I made some of them cry in telling them about my mom, and so it was a really big and emotional day.
I read some of your bio and some of the information online about you, and it seemed as if your mother, who I'm sorry about her passing, but she had a very profound effect on you, and that's a good thing.
Yeah, my mom really taught me to be who I am and not apologize for it, and just find pride in myself and other people.
So is that why you were labeled a wild child? Because she wanted you to, expand and expound on your own self?
A little bit. That, and I had really big hair that nobody could comb.
Okay. What's it like to write a book?
It's a long journey. The first book took 3 years of research and character development, and then writing itself and editing. But it's creating a world that you don't actually control. You think you do at first, but really once the characters are there, they control you.
One of my questions I have is, aren't all of the characters in your book part Aurora?
Yeah, I would say that all the characters are a reflection of pieces of me, and because I think as an author, you put your experiences into each of your characters.
Isn't the genre that you wrote this in, the vampire, werewolf, is that a crowded field right now? Seems like there's an awful lot of books about that topic.
Yes, it's a very trendy topic right now, is the paranormal romances. With your Twilights, Hunger Games, all those types of books fall into that category. And what Bloodmark does differently is it gives you a strong heroine in a Celtic setting. So you're bringing in a lot of mythology into it.
The hardest part about being an author has to be story development. Is that what you found?
I found part of it was growing the characters through the book. So you have to allow the characters to grow, and you have to stay consistent.
Was this the book that you took to somebody to do the editing? You were doing it yourself, and then you took it to a professional editor to help you? Mm-hmm. Did that work out really well for you? Because you expanded, you brought other people in to take care of your baby, we'll say, okay?
Yeah, it's actually difficult to give something like that away that's such a deep piece of you, and then have somebody give it back to you pointing out your errors. So it's there's a moment where you just feel frustrated, and then you realize that they're actually just finding the best parts and helping you make it better. So it's not about any failures or that, it's about making a better product.
The ultimate goal is to make the best book for you and for the reading public. What was the driving purpose for writing the book?
When my mom got sick with cancer, it was kind of that newsflash for me that my naive idea that I would live to be as old as my grandparents wasn't a guarantee. And I had to start doing what I always dreamed of doing and what I was meant to do, because I don't know if I have tomorrow to do it, so I have to start today.
First book in a 3-volume series, right?
Yep.
How are you coming on the second and third volumes?
The second book right now is in editing and will publish later this year, and the third one is only in outline form, so it hasn't been written yet.
And other authors that I've talked to say that they normally have a book kind of sitting that they've thought about or worked on. Have you got a fourth book in mind?
I do have a different series I want to start once I'm done with the Bloodmark series. And that one is going to deal a lot more with the mythology and legends within Indian heritage.
How did you do the research and study to become knowledgeable about vampires and werewolves?
I read a lot of different books about the different cultures' views on werewolves and vampires and how they came to be. And then from there, I created my own reality.
Is that kind of cool to create your own reality?
Very cool. It's exciting to create a world that you can be a part of.
Some of the stuff that I read about you as when you were younger was that you like to live within yourself and use your own creativity to create your own story. Is that true?
Yeah, I spent a lot of time alone on the farm, and I would just think up all kinds of stories and heroines and adventures I wish that I could be on.
Is being an author kind of an adventure that you really wanted for your whole life?
It is, actually. I started writing when I was a little kid, and I just didn't tell anybody I was doing it. It was something I did for myself, and it wasn't until my mom got sick that I started thinking that I was worthy of sharing that idea.
When you came to Prairie Lakes, did you have any idea what to expect?
I knew that I was going to be visiting with kids today and telling them my story, but I didn't realize how much it would impact me and how much that I would actually cry in front of them. So it was a much bigger day than I thought it would be.
As you went through the day, was there, what did you do? I mean, did you talk about the story or talk about writing? What were some of the things that you told students?
I told them where I came from, so small town in Benson, and I told them a couple stories about growing up and things that had happened, moments that changed me and helped me realize how to be a better person.
Those life-changing things can have a very large impact on you, can't they?
Yeah, I mean, simple things like my mom at Christmas, and we didn't get presents one year because it was just a tough year, and realizing that my mom needed us to be accepting of that moment as much as we needed her.
So do you come from a large family?
I have 2 brothers and a sister.
And if I heard correctly, you're married and you have a young little one?
Yep, I've been married for 11 years and I have a 2-year-old son.
Aurora, is this a little different than your normal day job when you get to go speak to corporate clients? How did that feel?
Yeah, in my day job, I present to a lot of corporate clients, and today was actually my first time presenting and talking to about such a personal thing with students and younger people, and it was really, really impactful on me, I think, as much as them.
So what made you decide to do it, besides the fact that Heather was a buddy?
You know, my mom always taught me to try and do things that can help impact other people and give them self-esteem and inspire them to be better, and I just wanted to give back.
So when you get to be world famous and you have 14 movies under your belt and 27 bestsellers, you want to come back to Prairie Lakes and talk again?
Sure, absolutely. I'm from this area, so I think I have a lot of pride in my home.
Aurora, if you had people you could say thank you to, who would your writing mentors be?
You know, as a kid in elementary school, in the 6th grade, we had a teacher who read us books every day. In English, her name was Ms. Wagaman, and she read The True Confessions of Charlotte Doyle by Avi. And I remember sitting on pins and needles wanting to know how that ended. And that's kind of one of the moments I was really inspired by writing. And from there, I've devoured everything from Tolkien to Jane Austen and even more currently, the Harry Potter series and Hunger Games.
If you were to describe your writing style, how would you describe it?
I would say that my writing style is very natural. I didn't go to college for English, so it doesn't have that perfect Oxford Dictionary style writing. It's more of a narrative.
More of a Minnesotan Upper Midwest kind of writing style?
I don't think there's any ooftas in the book.
Well, I'm not sure how well that fit with this. Now, let me ask you this: is Bloodmark? Tell us a little bit about what Bloodmark is about.
Bloodmark is a paranormal romance in the young adult category, and it's about a girl who is the chosen one within her people, and she's trying to overcome old traditions and prove that she is ready to be a leader.
Was it tough to write?
The story itself was actually really fun and kind of flowed easily, but finding the time when having a day job was the difficult part.
Also, if I remember right, your mother passed away during the time you wrote this, and you then made her part of the book. Is that correct?
She was sick with, she was going through chemo treatments and stuff for cancer when I started writing the book, and she passed away before it was published. And in the middle of it, I'd realized that I'd made her into one of the characters. The protagonist's mother says things to her that I feel like my mom would say to me. And so I realized I'd hidden her in my book somewhere where I could always find her.
Well, it's not such a bad deal, is it, in her memory?
No, I think it's actually kind of cool, and it's somewhere I can always go back and find her.
Is the writing of dialogue difficult?
Yeah, there's a lot that goes on with dialogue where you kind of put too many adjectives in it, and it takes away the reader's ability to put their own opinion in there, because the reader needs to be able to assign traits to characters just as much as you do.
Was there any of the research that was really tough for you to do, or did that come easy for you?
Research was actually really cool. I've always been interested in history and mythology and legends, and finding those pieces within it that you can take and spin differently because nobody knows the actual truth. So, and I love reading, so I got to buy a lot of different books that talked about that.
Did you sign a contract for a 3-book series with Wise Inc.?
No, it's per book basis, and so I get to choose when they come out, and I keep my full copyright.
That's even better. So what about the movie deal? In the works?
Not yet, but that's the dream.
Well, we hope you live your dream.
Thank you very much.
Super. We're very happy that you came. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
I hope you enjoy our visit with Aurora Whittet. She's a lovely person to sit down and talk to. And remember, the students in our classrooms today are the authors of tomorrow.